Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to make some more parts for my claw. So let's take this thing, and I'm just going to check where's my pivot point these days. It's right there. Okay, good. Let's pull this up a little bit. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a quick duplicate. Control D on my keyboard. I'm going to move the pivot point, holding down D and V, and I move that up here. I'm going to hold down V on this duplicate, and I can drop it down here. Yay! And this looks like a very interesting piece. Yes, I like it. Then, what I can do is I can grab my faces down here, and let's leave this. And remember, this whole little project is just to show you how a lot of tools work and things like that. You don't have to necessarily do everything I do. Let's take this, and I'll scale it out. Okay, great. Let's look at that a bit. We'll scale it out even more. Yes, like that. And I'm gonna take my edges, whoop, and I'll extrude, and I can pull this down. Here, I'll hit 1 so we can see what it kind of looks like. And if I switch this from local to global, there's a little switch on here. I can hold down X and I can snap it to the grid. I do believe that's got it snapped to the grid. No, I missed. Boop, 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 boop. There. Okay, and then these edges here, I can go ahead and I'll do another extrude, and I can pull this in or do whatever I want here. If I take this edge right here, I can go into Edit Mesh and hit Merge to Center, and those edges will go together. Yay! Okay, and if I hit 3, what does this look like? It looks kind of interesting, but maybe I might want to use that, let's see, where's the Offset Edge Loop tool? And I'll pop a loop here, pop a loop there, here a loop, there a loop. And then I might even go ahead and grab the Insert Edge Loop just by itself, and I'll pop one there. I don't know, come up with something that looks kind of interesting, style it up a little bit. Okay. So that's my base. That's going to be my arm base. Something like that. And I'll just delete my history, freeze my transforms. Also, maybe I might want to do some... Do I want to do some funny styling on here just for the hell of it? We've done this hard surface. I could... you know what? To keep it simple, I'm not going to bother on this one. Okay, so we got arm 01. If I take this and I make a duplicate and I hold down V... There. Okay, so I've done that. And then I can do Shifty, 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 Shifty. Make a nice big, tall arm. Okay, cool. Then I'm just going to go and I'm going to create some kind of polygon sphere. I'll pull it up here and I'll make it big. Whoop. I'm just going to hit F and frame it. Then, if I go in here, I might change subdivision's axis just so that it fits with the other piece here. If I do this, you can see it just isn't going to fit until I bring it down to 8 as well. I always seem to find 8 pairs really, really well with 6. Okay, there, nice. Look at that thing. I don't want to get hit with that. And if I take these two objects, I could go in and join them together in multiple ways. I'm just going to go ahead and Boolean them. If I hit union, oh, crap, I got to do some fixing. Who wants to fix this? If I go in here and I grab vertices, I'm just going to see, what does it look like? This looks like there's a little bit of nasty stuff going on. If I select all my vertices, I'm just going to hit 3 and see what it looks like. I can see a lot of snarly underwear over here. And actually, this one here, I think, if I just go in here and grab this edge, this one, I selected vertices so I could kind of see if there was going to be some little offsettings, but it's just those edges right there. If I hold down Shift and I right-click, there's a delete edge function, and that seems to have cleaned it right up. Righto! I might even do this, and delete those, and that gives me something nice. Okay, so there we go. There's my... This one here is not Sphere 2. This one's going to be Claw Hand or something like that. Okay, great. And I'll just delete my history. So, got some nice pieces now I can play with. Now, maybe I want to make some claw itself, some little claw pieces. I'm just going to put this on the two, there's a little button right here. It gives us 2 panels side by side. I actually like that little feature right there, except we're kind of on the front view, but that's okay. And if your grid is getting in the way, you can easily, right up in here, which one is it actually? I thought, oh, it's this one right here. You can hide your grid quickly, so if it's too much. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my Create Polygon tool, which lives under Mesh Tools, Create Polygon tool. And if you draw it counterclockwise with this tool, okay, I can hit Enter. Come on! Enter. Another window popped up, and that made it so I can't do what I was trying to do. And then I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, and I'll use the Append to Polygon tool. And just always place them counterclockwise. I can hit G, repeat the last tool command, G, G, and oh, maybe I'll do that. Enter. And you can also use the multi-cut tool if you're not happy with this, and you can put in more edges. I could have drawn it all as one shape and then moved it around and stuff like that. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. But then what have I got? I'll hit F over here so you can see it. I'll rotate around. Got a front and a back. We want to give it some girth. We want to give it some thickness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it an extrude. Uh-oh, come on, you bastard. Oh, I can't rotate here because that's not a perspective window. Okay, maybe I'll take this edge up here, and what if I take that and I'll collapse it? Collapse is another way to merge, and oh no, you get triangles now, Bob. Actually, maybe I'll leave that for now. Maybe I'll just scale it. Okay, and I can start to get fancy with this thing. I could make some areas thicker and stuff like that. I got a triangle here. It's not really crucial to get rid of it, but here's another way to insert edge loops. What if I go and I hold down Control, right-click, edge ring, and split. That pops in an edge loop for me. And I can go over here, and I'll pull that back. See what happens when I press 3. How does it look? Yeah. I like it. And you can grab some of these vertices and you can use the scale tool and make that narrower and make something kind of stylish. What if it was thicker here? That would hurt more. Yeah. What if I went in here and I grabbed these faces, like a face loop? If I select this one, double click on that one, I get a face loop. And if I go and I extrude, I can extrude this out and give myself some girth. Okay, and then I could go and insert my edge loops, and I usually can eyeball these things and get something relatively interesting out of it. And again, I keep making kind of a floating claw because I don't feel like spending a lot of time modeling in this area. I could do some other pieces to this, but it's just going to take too long, and I'm trying to make this video go quickly. And remember, if I pop a loop right in here, if I want to make sure it's right in the center, if I look at the poly split, make sure it's exactly at 0.5. There, it's right in the middle. And I've got a claw piece. And I'm just going to delete my history. Let's call this claw 01. Enter. What am I at? 8 minutes? Okay, good. And if I go here to the top view, I'm holding down the space bar to flip views. What the hell's wrong now? What the hell's that? I'm confused. Basically what's just happened here is I'm modeling really, really large, okay? My grid might look small in here, but it's actually quite large because I'm always modeling it real-world size. So right now the camera, if I go to View and I select the camera, you'll see the camera is actually sitting right there on my model. If I go like this and I pull it up, now I can see what's going on. Okay. And another problem I'm having right here, just going to isolate select. There's a little button for isolate select. The hotkey is Control 1. I'm going to bring in the grid. My claw isn't quite centered here. It's off, so I'm going to go and use the Modify Center Pivot. I've got that on my shelf right there, CP. And if I hold down X, I can snap it to the grid, snap it to the center, and then I can hold down D and X, and I can move this right there. Okay? And so, it frees the transformations. What I can do now, I'll bring everything back, is I can take this and I'll make a duplicate, If I have the rotate tool on and I hold down J while I'm rotating, 45 degrees, and I go shifty, 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 boom, I got big action claws. Okay, and everything's named. My god, if I go into the hyper... Oh, that's not where I want to go. That's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go in here to the hypergraph, and I can look, and I've got everything freaking named. My god. Oh, that's okay. Look at that. That's crazy. Here, I might just go in and move that around right there. So there's the arm base, and there's the arm 1. Okay, good. Okay, so everything's named. And I'm pretty much done this one. Actually, something else here. If I model really big, you might notice this kind of thing right here. I'm hitting something called the clipping plane. Just going to go to your view, and you go to the camera attribute editor. Clipping plane, you can go ahead and add another 0. You might notice some weird fragging on your model when you do that, and you might have to take this and take the near clipping plane and make it so it's like 1 unit. Okay, but that's if you're modeling big. Remember, these are based in centimeters by default, unless you've done something funny. And I'm going to close that, and I think it's time to save again. File, save scene as, done a lot of work, claw, and I'll call this claw2 underscore, and I'll call it blocked out. Enter. So everything's blocked out. I'm happy and I know it. And I'll stop here.